Dun, dun,
Hey.
dun, dun, dun. All right, we are on the air.
Welcome to Masks and Tights. Oopsies. Cat out of the bag.
Coming soon to a theater near you. All right. I needed a little water.
Yeah.
I had a little burp that just came up, and
Oh.
I couldn't start with that.
Nope.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Geekodrome. Uncooked. Fuck, I fucked it up.
Uncooked, uncensored.
I'm starting over.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to Geekodrome. Uncut, uncooked, uncensored. Geekodrome is the weekly roundtable discussion of all things geek. I am Jon, and I am joined, as always, by Stugots in the squared circle.
What's happening, brother?
So tonight, we're...
Yeah, dig it.
Oh, yeah.
We are raw, daddy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is tonight 25 years of Raw. And
I can't believe it, but I can dig it.
I know. As we're recording now, we're in the last hour of it on TV. So,
the 60-minute man, Jon. Yeah, daddy. Sit right down for the Geekodrome podcast. It'll only be a cup of coffee. Dig it. Yeah.
Funky like a monkey. So we couldn't. Oh, okay.
I did it on purpose that time.
I know you did it on purpose.
No, I started. I didn't have anything. I just started to see if you would
I
stop.
know. You moved to the microphone and nothing. And I know you did that on purpose, motherfucker. So, as I was saying, being wrestling fans, we couldn't ignore that. The Raw 25th anniversary. You, a more constant fan than I am. I had dropped off for, probably about 10 years.
Wow.
Before coming back because of you. And, I'm currently watching the show. I'm probably going to watch the Rumble on Sunday. So
there is just so much good quality wrestling right now. Whether you like WWE style, New Japan style, the independent style, there's so many talented young men and women out there that it's almost hard to ignore as someone who is a fan. Tonight on the 25th anniversary of Raw, we saw Sonya Deville, and I'm watching with Jen, and Jen recognized her immediately from when we met her last year at NXT over in Tampa.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, she couldn't have been any nicer when we met her that night, honest.
That's always the best, when you kind of meet these people and they're just so genuinely nice.
As soon as I said hello to her, she was like, "You're from New York." And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "I'm from Jersey." And we just started talking about, where we would go for pizza. And I told her about Brooklyn Pizza up in Bergen. And she knew the place. So it was kind of nice when you get to do not just that meet and greet where they're just like, "Oh, hi, hey, thanks for coming." But when you make that little bit of a connection, it's always good.
You don't want to just get the signature, get the handshake, and get the heck out.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Paper Doll Gunmall is saying that Asuka is her wife, so.
Asuka is unbelievable. She is like a force of nature. She is unbelievable. There's no other way to describe it.
So, because I'm coming back after a lag, I have a completely different perspective. Because I don't know what's going on, and I've been catching up for the last couple months. But the women's division is just out of control right now.
Yeah.
It's
so many great women wrestling.
It's as good as the men's. There was a solid roster in the 90s, but it's a different world right now. They're at the same level.
If not better.
Oh, yeah. I meant same level as the men. If you're right, if not better.
Yeah.
There's definitely some of the women. Some of them I think are underutilized, but I think that same goes for men sometimes.
That's going to always happen. As Bruce Pritchard says, there's only so much room at the top. You have to fluctuate.
Yeah, so my buddy's daughter is really into wrestling. Actually, both of his kids, but like his daughter loves Bailey, and
Bailey's awesome.
She gets a huge pop, but
Mm-hmm.
you can just see like WWE doesn't know what to do with her.
No, and she really should be the female John Cena. That is who they should be. I don't want to say shoving down your throats, but she is who they should be pushing as the main baby face in the women's division.
Completely. I mean, like the little girls, you just see them like blow
They
up.
gravitate to her. It's magical.
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, there's nothing that compares to that. Like where the kids just connect with somebody.
Yeah.
Like I don't even see it really with the men's division. Like you don't see little boys like connect with any of the guys like that.
No.
But it's like when Bailey comes to the ring, they all want to hug her. They all want like to just like connect with her.
The male crowd loves her, you know, because she's adorable. She's not like overly sexy. She really has that girl next door look and vibe to her. And she always has had that. Yeah, she's definitely someone underutilized.
Yeah, well, that's always going to happen. You know, there's only so much time, as you said, as Pritchard said. But we're going to keep watching because we want to get to those good spots.
Yeah.
You know. So, what do you think of the Raw 25 special so far tonight that we did see?
I didn't like that little hodgepodge of, hey, let's just throw all these legends in these backstage segments. Let them come out, you know, in front of the crowd. Let that live crowd see them. Maybe split it up. Maybe put some of them at the Manhattan Center location. Those Manhattan Center people are paying $400 a ticket, and they had like 2 or 3 matches, only one televised, and 2 promos, only one televised.
Oh, I didn't know they had more behind the scenes. That they weren't.
Yeah.
So I mean, I obviously live in New York, and I looked into buying tickets. Unfortunately, it was sold out by the time I decided I wanted to go, which meant I was looking at secondary prices.
Yes.
So down on the Manhattan Center, the cheapest seat was $250 that I found. And again, I looked a week, maybe 2 weeks ago. And the cheapest at Barclays Center was $75, and it was nosebleeds. And I'm just like, it's not worth it to me when I can sit home and watch, you know, and I'm getting, you know, a similar experience to these Manhattan Center people for the most part. You know, meanwhile, I'm watching Mark Henry and The Godfather here interacting on my TV. So I'm enjoying that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, like it's nice to see them, and like having them just line up was kind of Like I'd love to see them interact more. I wanted them to be part of the show.
Yes.
Like the poker game was kind of entertaining as it ran through the show, and they would just mix in different people. And it was cute, and you know, you got some Ted DiBiase in there.
At least it was an actual like story thing rather than walking in and out or just coming out to the stage like you had mentioned.
Yeah, you know, I wanted to see them like when the Nature Boy came out during the Charlotte promo.
Yeah,
that was entertaining. Like I wanted them to be part of the show.
That should have been on the stage at the top of the ramp.
Well, the Nature Boy should always have center stage.
Yes,
we're not going to debate
looking suit on that too. I like that suit.
He is. I mean, for somebody who's gone through what he has and at his age, he looks good. But
the dude almost died.
Oh, I'm well aware.
No, I mean, and I know just this last time, but like when you go through the story of Ric Flair's life, he almost died several times.
Oh, I know, but he's like for the first time like showing his age when he was still wrestling like 5 years ago.
Yep.
You know, so the way he looks now, I don't expect him to ever get in the ring again. But
no.
You know, I'm still a fan. He is still, you know, the main event. He is the icon. You know, it's really him and Hogan. There are no other people.
See, I disagree. For me, it's Dusty and Randy.
Okay.
And Piper. There's so many. Those are like, I always like the guys who didn't always get center stage, but Dusty was the head booker in the NWA, so he was always in that main event picture, and I know he put himself over in other ways, but at the same time, he didn't always have the belts. He knew that he had to give it up because he wouldn't be able to do his job properly in the office.
No, of course. You know, you want to keep yourself there, but you want to also give other people a chance.
Yeah.
But the other thing is...
But as a kid, though, I was big into Piper and Flair.
Yeah, and it's also, where you grew up. It's also regional. Like,
Yeah.
Dusty did not get a lot of airtime in New York
No, but at the
back in
same
the day.
time, he was like the national spokesman for Mellow Yellow soda, which was big in the South and in the West.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a big soda, even though it was nationwide. It wasn't very popular in the New England region.
Yeah. And, well, we're not New England. That's a little further up. But yeah, we prefer the Mountain Dew down here, up here,
Yes,
whatever.
exactly.
But it's just like, even so, it was regionalized till then. And like the biggest names in the South were Dusty, they were Rick. If you went to Texas, you had, the Von Erichs,
Yep, the
the
Freebirds.
Freebirds. But it's, but Hogan's one of the guys who brought it to the national level.
Oh, definitely.
Like being in Rocky, it's undeniable.
Yeah.
So, I even see like Mal is saying that she agrees that Hogan is overrated. And I'm not going to disagree, but he is the man who elevated this.
Oh, without a doubt. No one
the
else could have done
sport.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I give him the credit. I'm not saying he's my favorite to watch in the ring, because, it was always more entertaining for me to watch the faster guys, and the more flamboyant guys were always entertaining.
The big personalities.
Yeah, like I know there's been a lot of talk that Coco Beware was not on the show tonight. And, I used to love watching Coco come to the ring with the birds,
with the birds.
feathers.
Frankie.
Exactly. And it's the flamboyance of it all. Like,
Yep.
As Ozzy Osbourne once said, when the rocks in the 90s, when all the rock stars were pretty much wearing the same grungy shit that the people in the audience were wearing, he's like, where's, that whole performance? Why are you just dressed like the audience? Like, look like a rock star.
Yes.
And I know I'm badly paraphrasing what he said, but
no, but you're right though. There are some wrestlers that go out there and physically they just look like the guy in the crowd, and the mentality is, well, why am I going to see a guy in the crowd fight? I want to see someone who has a build or has ability. But then some of those guys, like a Kevin Owens has the same exact body that I have. He can go. For a guy who isn't in the greatest cardio shape or muscular shape, he can move.
Oh, I know. Unfortunately, he hasn't been wrestling too much that I've seen in the last.
I think
he
has
months,
an injury. So. He's on SmackDown, but I want to say he has an injury right now.
Yeah. See, I watch more Raw than SmackDown. I catch that occasionally, but I tend to have the TV on in the background while we record and catch some wrestling. So I'm more familiar with them. But I don't know. I thought we could. WWE did a show last week where it was the top 10 Raw moments.
Yes.
And I couldn't find that list. But I have Yahoo's list of the top 25 WWE Raw moments.
Okay.
So I thought we'd hit some of the major ones.
All right. We want to do top 10, top 5? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I'm going to kind of just go down their list because I hate half their list.
Okay.
I don't know if you want me to just run them quick on the crappy ones, but
you just do what you want, and we'll chime in.
All right. So they have 5 honorable mentions. The only one I want to mention is the This Is Your Life Rock.
That was awesome.
Because it was so awesome. Like, how is this just an honorable mention? So, that's
really should have been like a top 5 one right there. Not an honorable mention.
All right, just quickly, here's their honorable mentions. This Is Your Life Rock. Dolph Ziggler cashes Money in the Bank.
That was awesome.
# Occupy Raw. Batista turns Evolution. Chris Jericho momentarily wins the WWE Championship. And The Rock and Hogan meet face-to-face for the first time.
Yeah.
I think the only one that really is a top one is This Is Your Life Rock. As big a fan of like Jericho I am.
Was very good. The thing that like he could have won the belt the night before at WrestleMania and they saved it for the Raw the night after, which didn't make sense. Like you should have had that big pop right there at Mania. But I don't remember what the Mania angle was for the night before, to tell you the truth. To have him to say, well, he could have cashed in. Like offhand, I don't remember.
Yes, that's when I wasn't watching because it was April 8th, 2013.
It kind of came across as, oh shit, the fans wanted this. We should probably give it to them.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't want to give the fans what they want. All right, so hitting their top 25. I'll hit quick ones. Yeah. Number 25 is good. It's been in all the promos. So it's the 1, 2, 3 Kid, Pins, Razor, Ramon.
Yep, that was the first big Raw moment.
And it's just a huge upset, really entertaining, and it's really in the first couple months. Oh, May, so 4 or 5 months in. Next up, Mark Henry's fake retirement. Who cares?
No, that was pretty good. He trolled the whole audience.
Okay, this is when I wasn't watching. That's
it was
why.
like,
It's
I want to say
2013.
4 years ago.
June 17th, 2013.
2013. Okay, 5 years ago. He came out. He had boots with him. He was going to leave his boots in the ring. He was retiring. He was done. It was a very heartfelt promo that he cut. And then all of a sudden, I was just like, got you. And he just beat the crap out of Cena. Cena came down to shake his hand and congratulate him on a great career. And then that was it. He's like, nope. And he beat the hell out of him.
All right. We got Bubba Ray Dudley powerbombing Mae Young for number 23 here.
Wasn't that at the Meadowlands?
I believe so.
I think I was there for that.
It's not saying, but, I remember watching that. It was pretty awesome.
I'm almost positive I was there.
Yeah. That was in the Raw top 10 that WWE did on USA, and it was
all right.
Really good. Oh, and speaking of, the Dudley Boys just ran out on TV to,
oh, nice,
attack the tag match that was going on. Undertaker crucifies Stone Cold. That wasn't that memorable. Shawn Michaels versus Montreal. Really wasn't that memorable.
No.
John Cena is drafted to Raw. China wins the Corporate Rumble. That was kind of a big deal at the time.
Yeah.
But
they were testing the waters, it seemed like, with her.
Yeah. Here's a good one. Number 18, Eric Bischoff is named the Raw General Manager.
That was a big deal.
That was a big deal. And I believe that was in the WWE one as well. Because it was suddenly like, WCW invasion angle going and, kicked off that in a big way. So it was really a big deal to really say Eric's back and he's part of the WWF.
Yeah.
Number 17. This one means nothing to me. The Nexus destroys Raw.
Nexus was a failed storyline. That they dropped the ball so badly with that storyline. Horrible. It was great what those guys did. They just destroyed everyone who came out. They destroyed the ring, the tables, equipment. They were going to take over. It was all young guys, and one by one, they all got buried by John Cena.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I had heard
they were
about
all
that.
Talented guys too.
Yeah, it was like the NXT's top talent came in, did a big run in, and then what happened. Here we go. Number 16 was a big one when I remember watching. Pillman's Got a Gun.
Oh God, that angle was insane.
I know, like it was just like nothing we had ever seen before on the show.
And if you don't know what it is, Steve Austin went to Brian Pillman's house in Cincinnati, Ohio, to beat the crap out of him. Pillman had a couple of his friends there who Steve beat the hell out of. Throws one through a window, throws one in the pool, and breaks into the house. And then all of a sudden, Pillman pulls out this 9mm, and he cocks it back, and then they lose the signal. It just goes to static. It was so well done.
Oh, yeah. And really, I highly recommend the episode of Something to Wrestle With of that, where they go really in-depth on that story.
Which one? Which episode was it?
It was the Brian Pillman episode.
Okay.
Because they did the life of Brian Pillman, who obviously passed away way too young from a heart attack. But, he was very entertaining in the ring. I always liked watching him. All right. So here's, I know this one you'll like. Number 15, The Shield implodes.
No, I hated that.
Really? I know you're a big mark for The Shield.
I love The Shield. They broke them up way too soon, and it was right after they just got put over by Evolution. I know that people say, well, there was no one else for them to beat, but that was the point. You could have had that slow burn of the three of them slowly biting at each other's heels, with the prize being the World Championship.
Yeah. Unfortunately, wasn't to be. But that did make the Raw top 10 as well.
You could have gone really far with it to say all three of them could have won the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble match that could have eliminated number 4, the fourth guy left, and the three of them would just stand there, show closes, them doing the fist pound, and that's it. And then the next night on Raw, Triple H just says, "I finally know what to do to beat you. You're going to beat each other. Which one of you wants it bad enough?" And that's when Seth Rollins could have still smacked them both of them in the back with a chair, and it would have still been the same thing, but it just would have been a little bit longer before it happened.
Well, again, it's before I was watching, but I did get to see the reunion a few weeks ago.
That was pretty cool. I was so glad when they reunited.
Yeah, it's been entertaining. So here we go with number 14, the Festival of Friendship.
Oh,
Your pal Kevin Owens attacks Chris Jericho at the Festival of Friendship when he gives the Kevin Owens list.
Yeah.
Again, all over. I had not seen this one before, but
man,
it was on the WWE special, so I got to see it then.
That was such a good angle.
Yeah, so I kind of had some inkling as to what happened because I kind of hit a couple house shows with a friend at that time. So, but it, watching it, it's fairly entertaining, even without the whole backstory.
Yeah.
But that was almost a year ago now. So, and now number 13, Daniel Bryan breaks free from the Wyatt family.
Man, I have a screen cap on the screensaver on my laptop is all like photos that like I come across, like memes or just quotes and stuff like that. One of the photos in there, and it's like 300 something photos, is Daniel Bryan standing on top of the cage doing the yes chant from that night. And it was awesome to see, because it was like they kept saying in the office that the guy isn't over, there's no connection with the fans. And it was like, really? You turned them heel, they're still chanting for him. The end of that steel cage match was unbelievable. That's awesome. The reaction for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's embedded here, but I haven't hit play to watch it. But WWE, their special, they showed when all the fans came out wearing his T-shirts, and they're all just chanting yes together.
The Occupy Raw.
Okay, that was the Occupy Raw?
Yeah. Okay.
So that was kind of cool to see as well. So that made the mentions here, but not the top. So, all right, here was one that I always loved. Number 12, DX invades WCW.
That was so cool.
It was great because WWE and WCW were filming in the same city on the same night.
Yeah.
So, DX goes over there with a Jeep and a tank, and they just try and get in and cause trouble outside. And it was amazingly funny.
It was. And then when you hear, like, over the years, you hear the stories about that day, and it's like Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, who were good friends with everyone in DX, were on the other side of those doors. And they were like, open the doors up. This is exactly what you want. Like, we're not going to be able to, they can't fight with us. Those are our friends. And it really would have just shown how the Clique ran wrestling if those doors would have opened up and Nash and Hall would have walked out.
Oh God, could you imagine the promos they would have cut on each other?
On each other right there, yeah.
They couldn't come out and just hug. That would break the kayfabe. But oh God, if they just give them like the live camera and just let them cut on each other for half an hour, could you imagine the amazing television we would have had? Although, DX did kind of trespass a little bit, but
yeah. They weren't supposed to.
They weren't. Yeah. Again, Bruce Pritchard went into it on his podcast because he was producing it, and it was just like, the one thing you can't do is you can't go in, you can't trespass. So of course they find
don't go down the ramp.
Don't go down the ramp. They go down the ramp. They knock on the steel door. Nothing happens. They go to the regular door next to it. It's not locked. It's open. So they would kind of walk in a little bit, look around, check it all out.
Yeah. I think they all got arrested for that, didn't they?
I don't think they did.
I thought they did. At least that was what was always said.
No, I think that would have been come up in the podcast as well.
Yeah.
I think it just would have been way too much press. If WCW pressed charges against the WWE and had them arrested, then they're all over the news, and it's even bigger press. So that's why I would awesome. Yeah. So I think doing that would just play into it way too much, because then they come up on Raw and go, we were arrested today. Eric Bischoff had us arrested. Could you
not
imagine?
Cool, bro.
Oh, they would have just cut a half-hour promo on how they were arrested and everything. No, that did not happen.
Oh man,
That would have been amazing, though. So number 11, one I don't really remember is The Rock's concert.
that was terrible.
Yeah,
He's done a few of them. Every single one of them sucks.
yeah.
And I love The Rock. I'm such a gigantic Rock fan. I can't even express how big of a Rock fan I am. And every time he's done it, it sucked.
Yeah, I know it's cute when he sings in the middle of a promo, but when he just did the promo,
Yeah.
All right. So number 10, bringing back the ladies wrestling, Trish and Lita main event. The Mae Young was last couple of years, attack women. Yeah. So this was, I'm trying to get a year, 2004. 89.
Oh, it was when they finished. They main evented, and I think one of them was retiring that night.
It was December 6th, 2004, for the women's championship in the main event of Raw. So it's the first time that women's headlined the Raw.
Man.
And having mocked for weeks. Crowd was raucous. It doesn't say that anybody retired, but it was Lita finally defeated Trish to capture her second women's championship. I'll just say I don't remember this particular match off the top of my head, but the two of them both put on great matches together.
Trish she was the perfect example how WWE could take someone who was just into fitness, because she was a fitness model, not a wrestler. And if it's the person wants to work hard enough, they can break through, because she was just supposed to be a manager. She broke through and she became one of the most successful women wrestlers of all time.
Yeah, well, she wanted to get in the ring. She wanted to be part of it.
Yeah.
As opposed to, say, like a Stacy Keibler who, they had to have her do a couple bumps here and there, and she was in a couple matches, but was never really into the wrestling.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Trish wanted it, and that's why she got, she became a women's champion. And she got a huge pop on tonight's show because of it. She was the woman that they brought out last when they lined them up.
Yeah.
Although, surprise, surprise, Stacy Keibler was not there.
Nope.
It looks like DX has entered at the Manhattan Center. They have people with glowing green sticks making X's over their heads.
They don't do the crotch chops anymore.
Oh, they can't do that anymore?
No. They're all dads and such. They don't want to do that.
Well, Sean did find religion again.
Yeah.
But it's Sean and Hunter in the ring now. I'm going to have to watch this tomorrow night just to see the promo.
They'll bring the rest of the guys out, though.
Oh, yeah, no, they said it's the big reunion, but these are the two leaders, depending what's point of DX. So they're also the 2 out of 3 of the original DX.
Yep.
And unfortunately, we lost China. The 8th wonder of the world.
9th wonder.
9th wonder of the world, damn it. But, I'm assuming China would be out there with them right now. Because it would be the...
Probably not. I think Mrs. Helmsley would have an issue with it.
She might, but she's also, again, one of the original DX, one of the original
I don't think
3.
we'll ever see China in the Hall of Fame.
Well, yeah, there's a good chance of that. We'll never see that. So instead, we'll go back to the list. Since I can't hear the promo, watching it on mute.
Oh.
Number 9, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels bury the hatchet.
Oh, man. They actually hugged in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, this was in 2010 when I wasn't watching. But is that really a highlight like that?
Yeah, it was a big deal because of how they didn't speak since the Montreal Screwjob.
Oh, yeah.
And there was actually a DVD entitled The Rivalry of Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. And the two of them sat down with Jim Ross to talk about it. And they caught up with a lot of stuff. Shawn explains how he became cross-eyed because he wasn't cross-eyed in the 90s. He explained how he misstepped and took a punch by Kane and right in his temple. And since then he's been cross-eyed.
Ooh, that's unfortunate.
And it happened. Kane realized how hard he hit him, picked him up to make sure he was okay. And Shawn was like, totally my fault. It was a misstep. I was a step ahead instead of being a step behind.
Well, at least, he didn't take it personally.
No, it happens.
I'm going to have to seek that out because, I was a huge fan of Shawn. I was a huge fan of Bret. So, seeing them in the ring together was always amazing, regardless of how they really felt about each other. Hmm. But
Man,
I'll have to go back and watch that one if it's that good. Which will bring us to number 8, which has nothing to do with that. Triple H marries Stephanie McMahon.
oh, the Las Vegas drive-through.
Yes, when she was about to marry Test.
And she was drunk, quote unquote. And he's like doing a ventriloquist dummy for like, I do.
Yeah, it was so bad. It was awesome. And again, that was played during the WWE special, and it was so good. So good in its awfulness. Like intentionally awful. So it's so good. So number 7, Brock Lesnar returns in 2012.
He just came out and pummeled Cena.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm sure that Mal loved that because she hates Cena.
Yeah, so do I.
Well, that's the problem is you can't see him. It's like
I know.
You're in the middle of a match. It's like a guy wrestling by himself. What are you gonna do?
Can't see you.
Can't see him. You can't see him. It's not a really entertaining match if you can't see the guy in the ring.
You should try wearing like some bright colors or something.
Maybe some bright green.
Yeah, some orange.
And maybe some stuff on his wrists.
Yeah, so we could see him. Maybe a baseball cap.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to wrestle with a baseball cap on.
Well, if you can come out with it and it's brightly colored, we'll see him, and then we'll have a point of reference.
And then you can wear some jorts too, because the blue to offset the bright colors.
Yeah.
All right, number 6 definitely belongs on the list. It was also on the WWE's list. Austin versus Tyson. Austin coming. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just say Tyson coming in to just do some quick shots, and he gets in the ring, talking to McMahon, and then Austin gets in that ring, fucking electric. Like not before anything even happens. They're just Austin gets in his face, Tyson's just smiling, and then chest push, and the place fucking
double middle fingers. And, play some crazy.
That's right. It was the double middle fingers. So Tyson pushes him, place fucking explodes, and it happened to be on Pritchard's show this past week because it was that Royal Rumble they were leading up to, and like they signed him on for like a dozen more dates.
Yeah,
like,
they had to go back and renegotiate.
They completely renegotiated as soon as it happened after like the one appearance because they're like, we have something here. Yeah. This is fucking incredible.
And Tyson dropped 10 grand out of his pocket in the scuffle, and his handlers had to pick it all up. Oh yeah, no boss. I didn't pick up any hundreds. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't even see him. And you're like, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, as Pritchard says in this podcast, they walked into the backstage, they walked into his dressing room, and there's a guy in the back counting out the hundreds, making sure it's all there. He's like, that was a very tense moment.
Yeah, it would have been someone getting knocked out. Who walks around with 10 grand in cash in their pocket?
I forget if it was part of the gimmick at the time, like Vince paid him on stage or whatever.
I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, who would walk around with 10 grand in? It wasn't.
And I think you have to worry about someone mugging Mike Tyson. If I have loose change in my pocket, I'm always checking constantly to make sure.
I know. Meanwhile, you got Tyson. Not to mention that he's got his 10-man entourage or whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck. He taps you and you go down. It's not even a full-fledged punch. It's just poke, bunk.
Look, all right, I have an extra house key for the hideout that my mom gave me back today, so I can return them when we leave in a couple days. And I keep checking my pocket to make sure that it didn't fall out. Never mind if it's $10,000. My hand would just be in my pocket the whole time.
So I got $10 in my pocket of doing that.
Yeah, you're constantly checking.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever noticed my house keys, but like I always have like 5, 10 keychains. Yeah. Because like my 3 house keys are too light, and I'm always afraid they're missing from my pocket.
Yep.
So it's literally I have a carabiner with like 3, 4 keychains and my keys and my car keys, because that way I feel the weight and I know it's there.
I know they got them.
So I've done that for a very long time. All right. Number 5 is one of my all-time favorite Raw moments. It's the countdown to end all countdowns. In January of 2000, when the Millennium Man debuted, Chris Jericho appears in the middle of The Rock's promo.
Was it 2000?
Well, he was the Millennium Man, so he was Y2J.
Yeah,
It
but it was
might have.
before that.
Oh, it was August 9th, 1999.
1999. Yeah, because
Okay.
I was at Raw the week after.
Okay. Yeah, it says it was Chicago. So yeah. But I
Yeah.
was a huge fan of him from WCW. So when
Yeah.
he appeared on Raw and he just interrupts The Rock, it was amazing.
Met him once at the Elks Lodge over in Queens on Queens Boulevard at an ECW show. It was him against Taz, and Taz choked him out. But after the match, he was talking to people, and he was very nice at the time. I'm sure he's still nice, but at the time, he was very nice.
Well, he was one of the first like wrestlers online.
Yeah.
So like he was really easy to access. Like he published his email address on like his website and stuff. So you could just email him and drop him a line and say hi.
Like, what's up?
Yeah, it was like Walls of Jericho at something or other. You know, something ridiculous like that. But it was just like, hey, you're a fan. It was so easy to access him.
Walls of Jericho at prodigy.com.
Yeah, something like that.
We should do a show one day about all the old search engines.
Yes. So it wasn't Prodigy, it was like Web TV.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like he had like Web TV, and I used to laugh about that. But yeah. But it was just like, but he was one of the first ones out there.
Yeah, he was all out there.
So it was just great. And he was always entertaining. Like even mocking the other wrestlers and doing the thing with the hair. And you know, he appeared on Raw. I wanted a glitter shirt.
Oh, we all needed glitter shirts.
I never got one. I need to fix this. Somebody get me a glitter shirt. All right, we're going to work on that. I got the interns on it. I got the interns on the glitter shirt. All right, so Yahoo says, number 4, they actually combine two things here. The beer bath / milk truck.
Awesome. The beer bath and then the milk bath.
Well, yes. So Austin comes to the ring with basically a tanker truck and sprays down the McMahon family with beer.
Yep.
So then later on, you know, Kurt Angle, who's the all-American white meat babyface, 2-time gold medal winner, comes out with a milk truck and does the same thing like a couple months later.
Funny.
Hilarious both times.
Yep.
And amazing. Number 3 is just an iconic night as well. Shane reveals he bought WCW.
So good.
So, I mean, even without that part of it, it's just Vince jumping in on the WCW TV like that.
Yep.
And
the
it was
dual
just
simulcast, all of it.
The whole simulcast. And then Shane just breaks in. It's just like, well, there is a McMahon on the contract, but it isn't Vince.
It's Shane.
So while you're in the ring, you're in the ring saying you're about to sign the contract. I did it an hour ago.
It was so good.
It was. And it was just, you know, it was such a great night for wrestling TV. And I really think wrestling suffered for years afterwards, unfortunately.
Oh, definitely.
Because without competition, you know, WWE really kind of stagnated. I mean,
yep.
They're still a little formulaic. But, I mean, they kind of lost a little bit of their unpredictability without competition. But, you know, the product definitely, you know, took time and got better.
Oh, yeah.
In something like number 2, CM Punk's pipe bomb.
Awesome night.
All right. Since I wasn't watching it this time, why don't you fill us in on this one?
The show was just about to close. He came out, sat down on the stage at the top of the ramp with a microphone, talking about how the company underutilized him. They have no idea what he's actually capable of. That they are holding him back from fulfilling his true potential. And he just rips on Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, Triple H. He talks about how Brock Lesnar left because he was pissed off. He talked about how they ran Paul Heyman out of wrestling. It was unscripted. It really was Vince McMahon saying, you have something backstage, telling him you have something to say. Go out there and say it. You say you can make a connection with the fans. Prove me wrong. And And he did. Punk was a guy they just didn't know what to do with, but they just knew the fans loved him. He could wrestle, he could brawl, he can go in any style, whether it's a New Japan style or the WWE style or a hardcore style. He could do anything. At the same time, he can cut promos. Vince just looked at him and was like, I don't know, you're 5'10", 230 pounds. Some old lady looks like they can beat you up, you know? Because Vince is always you got to be 6'6", 325 pounds, be all muscle. And here was Punk, who can brawl and kick and do everything. And they didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah, Vince likes the big guys. I mean, that's always been obvious. But, you know, Punk is definitely somebody who the fans liked, but they couldn't get over. And didn't they cut his mic in the promo at some point?
Yep. And like I've heard two things. Over the years, I've heard that it was just mic problems and Punk ran with it, and then I heard other stories say that oh no, he was cutting it a little too close. You know, it was a little deep with those barbs, so Vince cut it.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I always kind of thought that he got a little too truthful with this. Yeah. And again, I haven't watched the whole promo, so you know, I can't say for sure. And I really have to rewatch that from the beginning. But again, CM Punk was wrestling at the time. I wasn't watching, and as much as you know, from what bits I've seen of him, I like a lot. Yeah, I just kind of missed out. I really feel I missed out on him.
He's a guy who came up with his own T-shirts. He came up with a logo. He trademarked his name, so he owns the name. He did everything right. You know what I mean? Like, from a wrestler standpoint, he didn't want to change his name. He did what he wanted to do on his terms, or he didn't want to do it, and it was fine. The only thing I could say that Punk ever did really wrong was he didn't finish his contract. He walked out before his contract was up.
Yeah, and which is one of the reasons why you'll probably never see him again on WWE TV, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I mean, he's still doing indie. He's doing UFC.
No, he does UFC. That's it.
I thought he still had a couple indie dates here and there.
No.
Okay.
No autograph signings, nothing.
Interesting. Well, I know that there was recently, I saw something on Twitter about him doing UFC again.
Yeah, Dana White said that they want him to have one more fight, and then they'll decide if they want to keep him or not. And it's like him winning or losing doesn't matter. It's what he shows out there in the octagon.
Yeah, I saw some wrestler making fun of him for it.
Yeah.
Gentleman Jack something.
I know he's Gentleman Jack Gallagher.
Thank you. I know he's SmackDown.
Yeah.
Again, I've seen him like once. All right, and now they're number one. Tell me what you think. Do you agree or disagree that this is the number one moment in Raw history? Mick Foley wins his first WWE championship.
Yes.
You really think that is the number one moment in Raw history?
Would you like to hear why?
I would love to hear why.
Raw that week was taped. And yes, the results were like available online, even though the online community wasn't all that big. So everyone, it's like if you checked, you knew, but if you didn't know where to check at the time, it wasn't like the news sites that are out there now, or even the WWE site that'll give you results for stuff that gets taped. If you didn't know, you were watching Nitro at the time, and Eric Bischoff told Tony Schiavone to give the results away to Monday Night Raw on their show.
Oh, yes.
And you could actually pull the ratings, the quarter-hour ratings, and you will see a seismic shift in the ratings that went from Nitro, from when he said, Mick Foley's going to win the WWE World Championship tonight, so don't change the channel and watch that. You see a shift in the ratings of like half the audience changed the channel.
Yeah, and they did that at the top of their show because they started it. Did they start it before? They started at 8. Raw started at 9.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to remember because it's been a few years.
Yeah.
And literally like 8, 8:10, they're just like, you don't need to watch Raw tonight. Here's what happens. Mick Foley wins the belt.
Yep.
And that's obviously the end of Raw. But,
yeah,
so at like whatever, like the last half hour or whatever, you just see the whole thing just shift.
Yeah.
And it was like a big moment for, for the ratings war between WCW and WWE. So yeah, that
and for years Tony Schiavone got the flack for that, but he was told to do it. And your boss tells you to do something, you do it.
Yeah, well, you can't not do what your boss says. It's not like the announcers are going to do that of their own volition.
Yeah,
to promote something else, but yeah, I mean they did that a few times where like Eric Bischoff would come out and tell you what was going to happen on Raw tonight, so you didn't have to watch. And this is all the time.
Even at the time when the Big Show left WCW, as he was leaving the ring, Bischoff says, "There he goes, the corporate giant. You'll see him on Raw in 2 weeks," and then you did.
Yeah,
it was like, what? Why do that? In Eric's mind, that was what you did. You want to ruin the other guy's story.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it backfired half the time.
Yes,
it's like these are my favorite guys. Of course, I'm going to watch them.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if like the giant one really backfired on them, but like you could tell like they knew they fucked up that night.
Yes.
So it was awesome. All right, I will agree with you that is the number one night, the number one moment in Raw, the number one night of Raw. And on that note, I think it's time to move on from Raw to the hot picks.
Hot picks.
Hot picks. All right, would you like to take it away for us?
The other night, we watched the first episode of a Netflix series entitled "My Next Guest Needs No Introduction." It is a 1 hour or about 45-minute interview show with David Letterman as the host, and his guest was the 44th president of the United States,
Thanks,
Barack Obama. Thanks, Obama. It was so interesting to see a president who was so eloquent, well-spoken, charismatic, and the good kind of charismatic, not the insane charismatic. A sense of humor and dignity and pride. It just makes you say, just watching it, you were like, why the fuck isn't this guy president again? You know what I mean? Even though we did his 2 terms, but you're like, Jesus, we must got someone really good to be president to come after this guy, because I mean, he's great.
Yeah, it's sadly. I haven't necessarily liked all of our presidents. There's one thing I want from them, though. I want them to be presidential.
Yeah, and without a doubt, even in this interview with David Letterman, he's so presidential where it's like every single person who ever runs for an office, regardless of their party, should watch this, because it is a master class lesson in how to conduct yourself.
Exactly.
Dave threw he threw some softballs at him, and then there were a couple zingers, and Obama didn't bite. He stayed who he was.
Well, he's Letterman. He does that.
Yeah, I know, but it was like he's at a point in his life now. President Obama was like, he could have gone with the zinger. He could have insulted someone, and he chose not to. He took the high road.
Oh, that's good. I can assume who that would be. I haven't watched it yet. I knew it was there. But I mean, then again, Obama was the president who went on Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis.
Yes.
Which, just showed that he had a sense of humor about himself.
Yep.
And he wanted to connect with the people.
Actually, one of the most interesting things on there was him explaining how his Twitter campaign in 2007 couldn't be duplicated today.
No. Twitter is a different beast now. Social media is a different beast now. But without a doubt, and it's been proven through history, that any candidate who can master the newest technology does better in the voting. Yeah. It proved true for radio. Mm-hmm. It proved true for television. It proved true for internet. And, it keeps going. So, there is precedent for that.
Yep.
And the fact that both of them who have been in the internet age and ran for office were the ones who were able to master it the best, and it got them elected.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love David Letterman. I really, especially when he did his really late night show, The Late Show, as opposed to the 11:30 late night. Yeah, remember when like top 10 lists were everywhere?
Oh my God, he had a book of top 10 lists.
I know. It was everywhere. It literally is, what memes are today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to watch that as a fan of Letterman and his interviewing, and to see what Barry Obama has to say.
I will say that there's a good chance that Vice President Joe Biden is receiving a wedding invitation from somebody you know.
Well, I didn't know Spanky Frank was getting married, but it's very nice of him to invite.
Well, he lives in New York. He can marry a man now. So
that's true. And
they let his
don't judge,
get married.
But just invite us. We like cake.
Yeah, I love cake.
So we're big fans of cake, and wedding cake is usually very good. So we're very accepting. We don't judge.
No,
we just like.
I give good gifts.
Oh, just remember, at the cocktail hour, there must be pigs in blankets.
Listen, I don't think you are one to say what should and shouldn't be at a cocktail hour.
Hey,
you left the wedding before the cocktail hour.
I had a familial conflict at that wedding.
I drive 1,200 miles, didn't sleep for a day and a half because I had to work and then leave to get to this wedding. You don't wait 5 minutes.
I waited an hour for you. I waited half an hour for you.
You waited the hour before the wedding started.
I know. No, before that cocktail hour started. I know.
Cocktail hour started at 6. John's like, hey, I'm waiting long enough for you. I'm leaving. I've been here since 5. But the cocktail hour didn't start at 5.
But it said immediately following. But I had my niece's bat mitzvah. I had to be there for family.
I know you did.
And that was in New Jersey. So I had to drive from Westchester to New Jersey. And, Joey's my boy. I love him. But, family comes first. And it always does.
Yes.
And there's family, and then there's your blood relation family.
Yeah.
So while he is family, he is not blood family. So I told him I was going to come as long as I could. And I did. And then I had to head out to Jersey.
I got to come as long as I can come for. And I'll leave before the wedding.
And she appreciates that. But we love Joey and Carol Ann. And I wish I could have been there for the whole thing. Which brings me to my hot pick. So in a previous hot pick, I shouted out, our buddies at Headlock Comics, who do wrestling themed comics. It's basically the story of this kid who wants to be a wrestler, has an accident in the ring, and then has to build himself up again. And there's, trying to get accepted by the existing wrestlers, and the press trying to do a screw job on him because, he had this accident, and this reporter's out to get wrestling in general, so they're using him as an example. Well, I backed the Kickstarter, as mentioned previously, and because it was delayed, one of the things that he's been, the writer Mike Kingston's been working on a few things, one of which he was doing some short stories for the Wrestle Crate. And as a apology for running late on the comic, he sent us all of the short stories he did for Wrestle Crate so far. There were 4 of them.
Very cool.
Excuse me. And I know I shared them with you. And I just think they're so much fun because
they are really well done.
They are. So they're all short stories co-written by actual wrestlers.
Yes.
I know Gangrel wrote one. Who else? I'm going to blank. Davari.
Yeah. It was Davari. Yeah, it was Davari. Sorry.
Well, there were 4 of them. And they're all so good. And what I loved about them is they were each a different genre of story.
Oh, yeah.
Gangrel wrote a horror story. I'm not going to remember who the writers are for each one, and I apologize to them for that. But there was one where it was done in the style of Sin City. About
so good. As soon as I saw that cover, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to love this book." And sure enough, that was my favorite one. Because
they were alphabetized, that was the first one I read. And I just read that, and I was just like, "Oh, this is so good." And I love the twist ending. And it's just such a cool, gritty story that aped off of That Yellow Bastard from Sin City.
Yep.
And, all 4 are so good. And, really pick up Headlocked, read the comics. They're fucking good.
Very
So
good.
I can't wait to get my delayed comic. But if he's going to send me short stories, I'm gonna enjoy it and say, take your time, enjoy it. Do what you need to. Because I mean, Mike is not just writing these short stories with wrestlers; he's co-writing books for the WWE with the wrestlers.
That's pretty big.
So yeah, because he mentioned which ones. It's like one of the specials, and I think one other, and it's just like, dude, this guy is living the dream.
Oh hell yeah!
He also mentioned. I guess he posted this in the thing that he reached out to The Rock on Twitter, and and is now like possibly talking to him about bringing Headlocked to the screen.
Awesome.
I mean, that's living the dream, man.
Heck yeah.
And we've said we want to finally bring in guests, and he's definitely somebody we have to bring in when we finally get guests going on this show, because the story is just. I mean, the story behind this is so interesting to me to begin with. And then the stories in the comics are just so good as well. And each one is better. Like, I shared with you the first volume, and, that was good. But he gets really, with the practice, he starts getting really good. And once he finds the voice in that comic, it is so good. So, I love it. I want to see more Headlocked. I want to see Headlocked on the big screen. I give Headlocked 2 thumbs up.
Sweet.
And that brings us to
real quick. Speaking of independent comic books, I got to see a little preview of the cover of what could become the comic book that I'm working on with Gunmal.
I need a sneak preview. I need a sneak preview here. Wet my whistle a little bit. Show me some art. All right. And then as that goes, we'll obviously, talk about it. When you guys put it out, we'll definitely dedicate an episode to it. Because I'm a big fan of comics. I love comics. And
me too.
I love to talk comics. So on that note, to find more Geekodrome, check us out at geekodrome.co. We are... Mal's already saying she's going to send me a copy. Woohoo!
Oh, awesome. Okay, cool.
Love you, Mal. Thank you. Yeah, and we're not going to share it on Geekodrome CO yet, but keep your eyes peeled on that, because if we're going to share it, it'll be there.
As we continue working on it, I'll update you guys.
Right. Maybe we'll make it a little feature. We can do a little podcast, behind the scenes of how a comic book is made.
Yes, because I have no idea.
All right, and if you want to hear the ongoing story of this, subscribe on iTunes. That's really the place to hear it. Get it direct onto your phone, onto your computer.
Or on Google Play if you're a Droid user.
Yeah, if you rock the droids, we don't judge. We love you too. We're in the Google Play. We're also on Stitcher, iTunes, wherever you find your major podcasts.
SoundCloud.
We are on SoundCloud. Hey, but if you want to contact us on the Twitters, we are at Geekodrome Pod. We're on the Facebooks at Geekodrome Podcast. And we just opened an Instagram account. There's nothing there yet. Give us, a day or two to get some good stuff going on there. But we're at Geekodrome Podcast on there as well. Awesome. So that's new and exciting. And if you want to contact me, I'm John. You can find me on the Twitters at just John. He is Stugots. He's on the Twitters at Don Stugots.
Yep.
And I know it's on a little movement hiatus, but he's also the host of the Eat Up Show on Monday nights on the Facebook. Are we sending them for best ofs, or is still a little something going while you?
I think Wednesday we move from the secret hideout to Casa de Stugots. Thursday we will be doing an episode of Day Drinking of the new house. Then next week we'll return. I have some very good things that I've been looking at to cook up for you guys, and a possible partnership with Pampered Chef for some equipment to use on the show to then tell people about the equipment.
Excellent. I look forward to watching you cook porgs once the Eat Up is back in business.
Cook what?
Huh?
Cook what?
Porgs.
Oh, I will be cooking porgs because they taste delicious. Of course.
Yes, and if you want to see this, if you can catch the backyard of Casa de Stugots on the day drinking, and we do film live to YouTube if you ever want to watch us film live, and you will be able to see some inside shots of Casa de Stugots next Monday night.
Definitely.
To look forward to.
Yes, because there's no lights in the backyard yet, so I can't film. Like, it'll be too dark for our show right now to do that in the backyard.
All right. Well,
but summertime, that could change.
We got to figure this out. We got to do, remote views of, Casa de Stugots.
Oh, yeah.
All right. But you know what? Until we see Casa de Stugots, it has been too sweet.